Manchester City followed their 2-1 defeat against Newcastle United with a flat 2-0 loss to Bayer Leverkusen at the Etihad on Tuesday night. The lineup that Pep Guardiola selected against Leverkusen did contribute to Manchester City's defeat against Leverkusen, as did Leverkusen's performance. But looking at Manchester City's past two matches, there is a glaring issue with the City midfield that does jump out at you. There is a lack of legs and physicality in City's engine room, and Newcastle and Bayer Leverkusen have exploited it to devastating effect. If the Manchester City press falls apart, then City's midfield is exposed. Newcastle and Bayer Leverkusen had success playing out from the back against Manchester City's press. Bayer Leverkusen had more success than Newcastle, but the fact that City's press failed exposed Nico in Manchester City's midfield. Once City's press ice, Newcastle have strength, power, and pace in midfield with Joe Ellington. They also have two technically superb midfielders in Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali. Those three players all helped Eddie Howe's side beat City at St. James Park. Bayer Leverkusen had Malik Tillman, Alex Garcia and Ibrahim Maza in midfield. Those three played well against Pep Guardiola's side. While City dominated possession against both sides, the ability of Leverkusen and Newcastle to break with pace and power from the full-back positions and midfield exposed a glaring issue in Manchester City's midfielder. Pep Guardiola's side could do with a powerful and athletic midfielder, although if they control games and their press is on, this lack of legs in midfield isn't such an issue. If the Manchester City press is on point, and they control a match with their possession play, as we saw in the first half of their recent 3-0 win over Liverpool, then their lack of legs in midfield isn't an issue. Pep Guardiola's side is set up to play this way. It has been ever since he took over as manager at the club. The issue now is that Manchester City's opponents have more athleticism, pace and power in midfield. Football has changed in this regard in recent years, and at times you do feel like Pep Guardiola's side could do with more athleticism in midfield. It isn't a knock on Nico or Rodri when he is fully fit to say that. It is just an observation of the trends of Manchester City's defeats this season. Tottenham, Brighton, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Bayer Leverkusen all have athletic and powerful midfields. Their ability to get at City on the break with pace and power has stood out across each of City's defeats this season. It couldn't hurt Pep Guardiola's side to add a technically gifted and powerful midfielder who can get up and down the pitch. The issue is finding one who fits that mold. That is no easy task in the transfer market. If Manchester City get their press right and control games, their lack of athleticism in midfield isn't an issue. That's their template for success. It always has been. Against Bayer Leverkusen, Pep Guardiola's side were too easy to play through, and they fell to a defeat. That cannot happen again. Manchester City's midfield lacks legs when they are turned around, and it takes a team effort to prevent this occurring. It will be interesting to see if Manchester City's press is on point against Leeds United today, to see if the issues that stood out against Newcastle United and Bayer Leverkusen have been rectified.